When was Buddhism and Jainism came into being? First thing first, Buddhism. So Buddhism came into being in 560s, around 560 century BCE. So in the 5 to 6 century BCE, we do see, I'll make you write, don't worry. We see that there is a marked reaction of the Rig Vedic religion or the Vedic religion. Why? Because it's very expensive. It doesn't include all the sections of the society. Okay, so there is a reaction of against the Brahminic domination, as you can see. Then we see an introduction of the new agricultural economy. Why? I gave you because economics is very important. That's what we deal. There is in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar region, we have new agricultural economy coming up because of inception of iron claw. What does iron claw do? We can expand our agriculture. There's more production. If there is more production, there will be more classes who will be, rich. So there is a certain section of society which is called Vaishyas. Their condition uplifted because of the production activities, and there were Shudras. These section of societies got attracted towards Buddhism and Jainism. First thing, because it's less expensive. Second thing, it doesn't use Brahminical language. I told you the Brahminical language or the Rig Vedic language was only accessible to Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. So these sections were marginalized, kind of. So these sections were seeking for some alternative. Easy, philosophical. And I gave you the examples of Upanishads also. Upanishads means to sit with somebody and have a Atman and Brahmans. Now the conversation expanded a little bit. I'll come to the life of Buddha a little later, but the point is the whole conversation of this time period was happening around metaphysics, that is Atma and Paramatma. What is the relation between a person and the God? So these people, like Brahmanas, became the kind of mediators. So there is a certain section of the society, including Kshatriyas, because Buddha himself was a Kshatriya. Very good. He comes from a clan called Sakya. That's why he's called Sakya Muni. He comes from, his name is Siddhartha. He comes from Sakya clan. That's why he's called Sakya Muni. Or other names he is having is Tathagata. There's a term called Bodhisattva. I'll make you go through that terminologies and all also. So the conversation was happening around Buddha's life. Since Buddhism starts from, the philosophy starts from the lives of Buddha. So Buddha is a Kshatriya from Sakya clan, and he's also named as Tathagata. Tathagata means जिसको जिस चीज की प्राप्ति होनी थी उसको चीज की प्राप्ति हो गई. I'll elaborate. There are so many people who are seeking renunciation. There are so many people who are seeking the attention of God, but few people are there who are getting it. Okay? That's why it's called Tathagata. जिसको जिस चीज की प्राप्ति होनी थी उसको चीज की प्राप्ति हो गई. The whole debate around this time period, as and again reiterate, was around God and metaphysics. Why? Because the whole conversation in Upanishads, in Ramayana, Mahabharata was around God. Some people were happy, some people were not. He was the person who was not happy. The starting of Gautam Buddha starts from when he was born in Shakya clan, and the story, there's a famous story in Jatak stories. Jatak stories are the stories which are given by Vishnu Shastri, and these people talk about the stories of Buddha, life of Buddha. So you see, there are a lot of stories around person like Rama or Hanumana or Krishna, So the same way we have the stories of Siddhartha, that is Gautama Buddha. I'll be using the term synonymously. So what happens is when Siddhartha was born, his father is also a king, and a rishi, a muni, comes to him and he sees him. He goes through his kundali and he says that this person is going to become a supreme god, and this person is not is not a ordinary person. He'll be a sage in times to come. अब भैया आपके घर में कि आपके बच्चे को कोई बोले, आपके किसी भाई बहन को बोले कि ये तो बाबा बन जाएगा. So you know the society is like that we want to say that हर घर में क्या बने, भगत सिंह आए, लेकिन not mine. मेरे घर में कोई नहीं होना चाहिए ऐसा आतंकवादी टाइप्स, ऐसे लोग कहते हैं, क्योंकि अंग्रेज used to call him terrorist. For us he was a nationalist. A terrorist for somebody is a nationalist for somebody. The jihadis who come to India are terrorists for us and nationalists for them. So anyway, that's a different trajectory. And the point I'm trying to make is his father is scared. Then what happens is his father says that अभी तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगी, अगर ये बाबा बन गया तो फिर who will take care of my Rajpat and all. So he's scared, and what he does is he creates such an entourage or a life which is full of luxury, girls, music, and he's having 4 or 5 mahals. So he's having so much of houses, so much of luxury, young people. He never sees a person who is old. So the sage says that, sir, इसकी life की trajectory कैसे बदलेगी? How will his life's trajectory path would change? He'll see an old man, he'll see a dead man, he'll see a what do you call it? A person who is who's what do you call it? Differently challenged. So that when this happens in his life will be changed. His life will change, and so change the so history will change. So his father gets scared and he keeps him away from all those things. Cut to he's 16. Siddhartha becomes we grow. Is all with this luxury and stuff. So he goes out with his what do you call it, charioteer called Channa, and the rest is, what is the story? The third rhino-city, then we have this donations. You see, certain sections could not afford to have major sacrifices of wars, which was very much prevalent in the later Vedic period. So these people wanted peace. Trade कब होगा भाई? इंडिया में इन्वेस्टमेंट कब होगा? जब यहाँ दंगे हो रहे होंगे तब होगा कि when there is a peace. Many of the companies which were investing in Gurgaon after the pulled back after that what do you call it, religious violence. Think about it. Peace is very important if trade and commerce has to go. Anyway, backlash against accumulation of coins. This is the story. Born in 624, and his other names were ये लिख लो. Shakyamuni, because they come from Sakya clan and Tathagata. Early Buddhist literature. Buddha dies after the age of 80. In the age of 80. ठीक है, पहले सुन लो. So you see the Dharma Chakra Parivartana and all, we'll come to that also. But he dies after 80 years. That makes it around 480s, 470s. So what happens is his disciples are very much from all the castes. Ananda, Upali, usko likhoge koi baat nahi. Ananda, Upali. Ananda comes from a lower caste. Upali is from Kshatriya caste. So these people are moving with him. भाई हर उसके कुछ न कुछ तो होते हैं ना चिले चपाटे. So these were moving, and when Buddha dies, of course he gives the philosophy of Madhyam Marg. उसको भी लिखेंगे, कोई बात नहीं. What is मध्यम मार्ग guys? मध्यम मार्ग means middle path. How do you define a middle path? आपको थोड़ा बहुत तो पता है. You might have seen some of your friends पी के यहाँ है और दूसरे दिन स्ट्रेस में है. वो जो वर्ड यूज करते हैं, मैं तो बहुत ये होता है. जेंजीज के साथ ज़्यादा हो रहा है, मैंने देखा है. क्यों? आज मैं ऊपर सोशल मीडिया में पोस्ट कर दिया, 4 लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा कह दिया. वाह, माई हैप्पीनेस इज, मेरे पास फोन नहीं है, इज देयर. If she said, he said, I'm pretty, then I'm pretty. You are transferring your happiness to somebody else. To say somebody that you are pretty, to say somebody that you are intelligent, to say Buddha delivered his first sermon on deliverance from suffering, to his 5 former companions in Deer Park at Sarnath. सारनाथ कहां पर है? बनारस के पास, वाराणसी और जिको. This event is known as धर्म चक्र प्रवर्तन. धर्म चक्र प्रवर्तन, meaning turning the wheel of Dhamma. Turning the wheel of Dhamma. His 5 disciples soon realized the truth. Themselves and became arhats. Then became arhats. Buddha finally attained parinirvan. और निर्वाण जो आप कहते हो, there is a famous band of you might have heard about a grunge band called Nirvana. सुना आपने? बड़ा भयंकर भी हो जाता है वो, बहुत पुराना बैंड है. निर्वाणा और परिनिर्वाणा at the age of 80 at Kushinagar. Four noble truths of Buddha. Four noble truths of Buddha. The truth of suffering, first. Second, the truth of causes of suffering. Third, the truth of end of suffering. And fourth, the truth of path leading to the end of suffering. The truth of path leading to the end of suffering. दैट इज कॉल्ड अष्टांगिक मार्ग. ये तो 4 नोबल ट्रुथ हो गए, इसके बाद अष्टांगिक मार्ग आएंगे. ओके, इसको थोड़ा समझ लेते हैं. सफरिंग मीन्स लाइफ इज फुल ऑफ सफरिंग, एज आई गिव यू एग्जांपल ऑफ दीपिका. ठीक है, समझ में आ रही ना कथा की ऐसे चल रहा है मामला? पूछना पड़ता है यार. You see, my understanding doesn't matter. What matters is your understanding towards, because full of suffering ये देख लिया. अच्छा, your understanding has to go so that on 26th or 16th, now 16th June, when you'll be having at least 2 questions from this topic or Jainism, then you don't गाली नहीं कि भाई इसने पढ़ाया था मास्टर ने एंड मतलब फंसा नहीं सवाल. So, I mean, I'm expecting 8 questions at least from what I'm teaching in these. ठीक है, ऊपर नीचे हो सकता है, 10 भी हो सकते हैं. Ancient modern से थोड़ा वो कम पूछ रहे हैं, क्योंकि यार modern is everybody studies modern. We also studied spectrum so many times. So, but I'll teach you that also. That is not a problem. ठीक है. So, Buddha says, जीवन भी दुखम, मरणम दुखम. जीवन दुखम, मरणम दुखम, सब चीज के बारे में बात करते हैं. There's a famous story that everything is impermanent. He gives the theory of impermanence also. धीरे धीरे उसके बारे में बात करेंगे. There's a famous girl, lady, very pretty girl, who comes to Buddha, and she is very fond of her beauty. कि वो कहती है मुझसे खूबसूरत तो कोई है ही नहीं, ऐसे कुछ. तो बुद्धा से इसके चलो उसको कुछ सिखाते हैं. So Buddha takes her to the the town and shows her a 80 years old woman. तो झुर्रियाँ पड़ी हैं and things होता है. एक वही लड़की को बंदा गिफ्ट देता है और अपनी मम्मी को छोड़ देता है. या और there's so many people, mothers in Vrindavan. I'm not saying you shouldn't love a lady, but the point is you should have a balance. You should also love your mother. You should also gift your mother, guy or a girl. इसके पीछे इतने पागल मत हो जाओ कि दीपिका बन जाओ, ये लड़के भी, समझ रहे हो ना? और सेम द केस विथ पेपर ऑल्सो. हैव योर स्टेट ऑफ माइंड, कीप योर बैलेंस. nowadays there's a huge lot of I'm outsourcing my happiness. Why should I outsource my happiness to a exam, to a person who should not take control of your life? Anybody, girl, guy. You getting my point? So if somebody in that situation, पेपर में किसका होता है यार? 88 का पेपर है, 88 मार्क्स कट ऑफ जा रही है. आपको पता है कितने बंदे 86 में होंगे या 85 में होंगे, और कितने बंदे 90 में होंगे? लगभग 8000 बच्चे इसमें होंगे, और लगभग 330 के बच्चे इसमें होंगे, कम से कम लाख भी हो सकते हैं. That doesn't, एक क्वेश्चन से उनकी इंटेलिजेंस का फर्क पड़ेगा क्या? Overthinking, stress, over expectations. If you do 3 plus, then that makes it 3 into 6 plus 2, 8. You are 8 plus. And you do 3 minus, you have 8 minus. 80 वाला बंदा कहाँ पहुंच सकता है और कहाँ पहुंच सकता है? फर्क है ना? Coming back to impermanence. So he says that everything is transient, everything is impermanent. Your youth, your happiness, your dukh. होता है ना, मेरे साथ भी होता है. Some day we feel like every day I meditate. So I think that some days you meditate like, oh my god, 30 minutes you bang on. Some days you have so many thoughts in your mind. Oh my god, it's not that you keep your thoughts coming. How you deal with those negative thoughts is it's the key. हर किसी की जिंदगी में कुछ ना कुछ समस्याएं होंगी, कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स होंगी. भाई तुम्हारे माँ बाप को भी होंगे, हमारे माँ बाप को भी होंगे. बट यू मेक अ फज आउट ऑफ इट and dealing with it, there's a difference. There is a guy in June who pulls a rickshaw, doesn't complain. जून में कितनी गर्मी होती है? 40 डिग्री में बंदा साइकिल चला रहा है यार. Pulling human is pulling human. Think about it. A person who is picking bricks, his wife, do you think that you are not privileged? Okay, चलो 8-fold path को इसको लिख लो, सिर्फ इसको एक्सप्लेन में करता हूँ. इसको लिख लो, 8-fold path ऑल्सो ने अष्टांगिक मार्ग. ठीक है, 4 फोल्ड वो उसके हिसाब से चार नोबल ट्रुथ एंड दीज अष्टांगिक मार्ग. Right livelihood, you life it should be not in extremes. Observation should be clear, determination should be clear. Actions, you do wrong to others, आएंगे कुटाइन करके चले जाएंगे तुम्हारी. Right meditation, right exercise, दूसरे को गाली गलौज करोगे तो वो ट्विटर पे कुछ ना कुछ तुम्हारे लिए भी लिख देगा. Right memory or positive memory you can also call it. It's all moral thinkings. Morals ही तो है एक तरह से. और गाइस ये you should quote in your any introduction also. ठीक है, पेपर 4 का और पेपर 1 का. चलो, और ऐसे तो हो गई. गाइस हो गया. One more thing, Buddhism accepts transmigration and impermanence. ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन का मतलब क्या होता है बच्चों? But rejects idea of God and soul. That's what you call heterodox. Vedic corpus talks about Atma, Paramatma. You're getting it? रितु, you अभी से भूखा रहने की जरूरत नहीं है. So, but लोग बोलते हैं आते तो है नहीं, but yeah. Guys, you understand what I'm trying to say ना? अब देखो क्या, एक राजा का बेटा है. गौतमा is a सिद्धार्था is a राजा का बेटा. So what happens is, भाई घर से निकला है, हीरो बनती में निकल गया भाई. Then he went outside. अब भाई खाना तो ऐसा कोई देगा नहीं, राजा जी आओ खाना खा लो. So he had to beg. He had to. अब एक दिन क्या हुआ, पड़ा हुआ खाना था तो he had देखा, उसने उसको बुरा लगा कि यार, but that's the only way he could survive. So he eats it. Initially he faces problems. You see, that's how life is all about. It's up down, no? Impermanent kind of. You're getting it, no? Very important. I'll explain this to you. Sarvastivadin. होता क्या है यार, every school of thoughts has people who accept, who reject, interpret, misinterpret. So the same way, Sarvastivadin are the part of Buddhism, Hinayana Buddhism. And Theravadas are, these are later, like Theravada comes in 6th to 7th century. And then comes a Vajrayana. Vajrayana, if I could explain it to you, it's more like a Shakti cult. Vajra Tantrayana. What happened was, during this time period, I'm talking about 8th century AD, Vaishnavism is at full swing. Peak. Hinduism is in peak because of Gupta period, post-Gupta. And mind you, this time, Harshvardhana is a king. Harshvardhana is the king. These people are very much supporting Vishnu Dharma or Hindu Dharma. They are also supporting Buddhism, but Buddhism is in decline. They were the, जिस problem को वो face कर रहे थे, they become like that only. They came into being, जैसे केजरीवाल का हुआ. I mean, corruption को करते करते खुद corrupt बन गए. So these people were following Pali language, but started following Sanskrit language, started following, imitating Hinduism, reincarnation. So they started working on the reincarnation of Buddha. So Buddha was God. Buddha was supreme. Then they started taking the same amount of money from rajas, the same amount of lavish lifestyle in the 8th century. And gradually, after Vajrayana, Buddhism declined from India and went to Japan, Southeast Asia, you know, those nations, or China or Tibet. So this time onwards, we see this is called Tibetan Buddhism. ठीक है, अब इसको लिख लो, 3 खांचे बना लो, हीनयाना, महायाना एंड वज्रयाना. ठीक है, इसको लिखवा देता हूं सो दैट इट कुड बी, तुम्हें समझ में आ, यू गेटिंग व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से ना. ओके, फर्स्ट राइट अबाउट द हीनयाना और थेरावदा. Literally means the lesser path, and the Hinayana Theravada literally means, ऐसे करके नीचे लिखना, ये तो आपको मिल जाएगा. Literally means the lesser path, and Theravada signifies doctrine of the elders. Come to the Mahayana part then. उसके नीचे वो बना लो. Means the greater path. Literally means the greater path. The term Mahayana and Hinayana were given by Mahayana school. Come to the Vajrayana part then. Given by Mahayana school. Vajrayana लिखो अब, थर्ड वाला. हाँ, literally means vehicle of thunderbolt. Vehicle of thunderbolt. Vajrayana is also referred to as Mantrayana or Tantrayana. आपने सुना है काली का तंत्र मंत्र की बात. So they are following the same trajectory which Hinduism is following. You getting it? Acha. This time onwards, in Hinduism, we see a lot of new deities, which is Kali, Vaishnu, Shaivites. So these are different sects which are coming within Hinduism. Hinduism is expanding its horizon, and these are being competed by new forms of Buddhism, which is Vajrayana. So they are following Mantrayana, Tantrayana. You're getting my point? So I mean, it's just that I'm copying somebody, and I've lost my own originality. That's what happened to Buddhism. Okay. इसी के नीचे लिखो, वज्रयाना के नीचे, the period of Indian Vajrayana Buddhism has been classified as the final period of Buddhism in India. ठीक है? यस, फिर से देखो, हीनयाना बुद्धिज्म आप ओरिजिनल बुद्धिज्म कह लो. ओरिजिनल बुद्धिज्म कब आया? 6th century. महायाना कब आया? 1st सेंचुरी एडी, ठीक है। एंड जो लास्ट वाला कब आया? 8th सेंचुरी. So total transition, guys, there's no problem in this because this will be repeated over and over again, because in architecture also ये आएगा, other philosophies के बारे में बात करूंगा आएगा, अशोक पढ़ाऊंगा तो आएगा, कनिष्क पढ़ाऊंगा तो आएगा, don't worry about it. अभी थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे हो रहा है वो मुझे समझ में आ रहा है, but that is not a problem. You're getting it? Get the basics very right. Hinayana original, Mahayana gradual change, then Tantrayana comparison with Hinduism, or Tantra or Kali Puja, which is you're competing with somebody and which is a declining phase of it. ठीक है, इसको हीनयाना महायाना को उसके नीचे जगह छोड़ दो, इसको थोड़ा लिख लेना, अगर लिखना है तो अभी लिख लो 3-4 चीजें, ठीक है, विजुअल राइट ना, ठीक है, आगे बढ़े। थोड़ा वज्रयाना में लिख लो, उसमें मटेरियल नहीं है इसमें, वज्रयाना के नीचे लिखो। It was a form of Buddhism which appeared in Eastern India in the 8th century, and was finally established in Tibet. In 11th century. As a result of a mission sent from the great Vajrayana monastery of Vikramshila. Vikramshila, Shila. Vikramshila is a university, Nalanda and Vikramshila. Nalanda University was in Bihar. Vikramshila was in northwestern part of India. Okay, we will be Nalanda philosophy will be reading. We'll be reading Gupta period. Then also we'll be talking about the how evolution of Buddhism and simultaneous Hinduism comes. Okay, इसके नीचे लिखो, इसी में वज्रयाना में most of the terms originated in Sanskrit language. Of Tantric Indian Buddhism. इसको मैं कॉमा कर दो। अब सुनो guys, the point is, you see, I am giving you the trajectory of Buddhism now. What is happening in the Hindus fold? You see, so many people from 6th century onwards, when the inception of Buddhism happens, leave Hinduism and come to the fold of Buddhism. So this makes Hindu followers, Rajas, insecure, including Ashoka, who's a great patron of Buddhism. But after Ashoka, what we see is we have influx of foreigners who also get inspired from Buddhism. But what happens after that? And I'm talking about till 6th century to what's 1st century AD. After the Common Era happens and the Gupta period comes, we see re-emergence of Buddhism. And Gupta period is roughly around, Gupta period क्या है? 3rd to 4th century. Starts from 350 onwards. So we see a re-emergence of Buddhism. Re-emergence of Hinduism. Hindu deities started coming up. We see Varaha, we see Vishnuism, we see great Sanskrit literature like Abhigyat Sakuntalam by Kalidas, Ritu Samhara. Those are love stories. But the point is, it's a secular literature, very good literature. These people, the Gupta period is the patron of Hinduism also.